Now you think kids, gather around, right, Sloan and the copyright LLC recording file, right. Gather around, little Jedi discussion. I say, like, I don't know, how should I say it? See, like Elijah figure from, like, the book of Malachi that Jesus talks about in the New Testament, even on top of it, right? It's not actually Elijah, the guy from the Old Testament. That's Elijah proper. Like he did battle with the Baals and like Jezebel and them, and then like he had to put the mantle on like Elisha or whatever, because God told him you have to do it to this one person named Elisha or whatever. And that's that story. And then, like, there's John the Baptist, and he's, like, Elijah figure who prepares the way in chapter 3 of Malachi, which is why they always quote chapter, like, it's either 2 or 3. That's why I think it's the beginning of 3. But I could be wrong. But they mention, like, someone preparing the way, and that was for Jesus. And that's why Jesus even says, Elijah will come and restore all things. But I tell you, he already came, and it's just John the Baptist. Because, in fact, they mention, like, 2 different occasions of, like, preparing the way and, like, Malachi. Now, if you do read it proper, though, Malachi, right, there is some other Elijah figure, right, that comes in the same way as John the Baptist did, at the end to restore all things before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he's supposed to turn the hearts of the children back to the parents and the hearts of the parents back to the children. And he knows they all need God and don't believe in him, let alone Jesus and the Bible, and that is why they fail. They just don't believe it. There's no way the Red Sea could have parted. There's no way Jesus could have done that. Even the Muslims believe there's no way Jesus could have done that, even though the Quran states, no, look, it says, like, Jesus did that in yours too. He does miracles. And nobody even believes he walked the face of the earth, or that, like, you got to listen to his teachings, right? But see, there's this guy, Eliakim, in the Bible, right? Some watchman from the Old Testament, just like, there's some watchman. There's clearly in enough of the books, some watchman in the latter days one at the end. And the watchman was with, like, Father God, but, like, the people and even the priests, like, have drank down the, like, waters of gall and the, like, in the wines of Jeremiah or whatever and all the fun stuff. But Eliakim doesn't do that. And he also, like, is a watchman, so he has to watch things on a spiritual level. It doesn't once even necessarily have to mean TV, but then these people with, like, tent peg game or whatever. And if he's a tent peg, because, like, it states that this Eliakim is, like, the sole member of the Church of Philadelphia or something, and never once wants a crown. His only crown is he's a tent peg. I mean, he's like, that character is supposed to be like a Daniel Belteshazzar type figure to the king, who in this case is not Nebuchadnezzar, but Jesus Christ himself. The guy that smashes everything and, like, insists, like, God insists, like, they're going to be godly people. And, like, if you're smart, you even understand while God is king and the king of the King of Kings, even he insists, like, this Jesus is going to be, his kingdom is going to, like, the Son of Man. So anyway, from Daniel. Anyway, you don't have to believe me about the church stuff. And Portman doesn't have to believe me that, really, if she didn't want to date me, it'd be fine. Like, I'd be okay if she could just, like, agree. If she doesn't want to sleep with me, it's okay at least if, like, I can sleep with someone else in that case, considering I'm single and supposed to have rights. I mean, she would yield, like, either her or it's okay if someone else, and she's just, like, a sister to me or something, or even a friend, or just a fellow American, or, like, a good neighbor, or even just, like, she's supposed to believe in Yahweh, and Yah would kill her the same as me if, like, she felt differently about it. But I'm just saying, if we just agree there's a separation of church and state, and, like, it's a church matter, it's a state matter, actually, with the separation of church, and, like, we have rights. And if, like, Portman and Knightley can agree that, like, if either one of them didn't want to date me, right? I mean, like, Portman first, but if she didn't want to, then, like, even Knightley, I don't think they care about that as much as you think. And I don't think, like, I care about it as much as you think, in terms of literally, like, not seeing this, like, Avatar wines or something. And, like, the only one who seems smart out of the batch is, like, the Spock one, Spock's girlfriend one. And, like, whenever there's a chosen one or a divergent one or some weird thing like that, or, like, an X-Men one where I got to do all of them or something. Anyway, all right, Portman, remember, Alf's games, and yeah. I mean, then make sure Brittany's a consultant, and hey, maybe Knightley, right? But always two there are. So I mean, if Brittany's already a consultant, and Knightley doesn't want to do it. Either way, Sloan better I mean, you don't listen to them. Listen to me now, right? Because you even know they're bad about it, and I'm nice. All right, and no, I really, I'd pick the bagpipe girl before any of you. What do you think of that? But I have to. No, I really kind of like Portman. I only don't care. Like, I only want you to understand how little I care about that. But that, if I may give you a little bit of directing, sister, it's like you and me are like Indy and then like Henry Jones Sr. from the Crusade. And it doesn't matter whether you want to be the one or the other. It's just the scene where we're tied to the chair and there's a fire on the floor. The floor is on fire, right? And so it's just that. And then there's Nazis around, and it's that. And then you match that one back to Star Wars Episode 2 with tied up with a third wacko or something, right? And basically, I mean, add Knightley and Splat and do whatever you want, but really, I think you want to call Sloan after you get the Alf's Games LLC with the TIN number, and go from there, right? And have a good night. I don't judge you, whatever you and Knightley, I understand always three there might be with Ray and you two, but really, I don't know, I could just be making that up. Have a good night.